Hi everybody, welcome to the big frantic post-BBB, 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 which doesn't actually have an episode number because instead of being a BBB, it's Storytime with Jazz.
What on earth was that? Did you just take like 15 like little bits of shots and like inject it into your bloodstream?
I don't know what you're talking about.
God.
I've never done amphetamines in my life and I never usually speak this fast, but just
Oh,
believe
God.
that's nothing to do with myself. Nonetheless. Ooh, today is special. How are you, Astro? How are you, Jazz?
I'm alright. I have a new mic.
Listen to
Oh
that
yeah, HD.
big boy quality. Oh.
You make us sound like such trash now.
He has the voice of an angel, if you've ever heard of one of those sounds. So good. So, Jazz, you're here today to tell us about what happened to you. A terrible story, a calamity, a travesty, complete neglect and abuse of the Irish.
Jesus Christ. I'm like thinking about it, just like thinking about describing it is making me age, like
Oof.
5 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, for the purpose of Astro's audience, and so that they don't engage in too much Schadenfreude, I think that it's best if you set the stage and retell us
Alright.
the tragedy that befell thee on that fateful week.
The fateful 3 weeks I was gone.
Yeah,
The
that was
dark-
Maybe-
interesting.
Oof.
So exactly what happened. Okay, so as you guys know, I went off for about 4 months?
4 months or so, yeah.
4 months? Yeah, 4 months. To Italy for work and stuff like that. So I was working, I won't say the name of the company as best as I can.
Okay.
So I will refrain from saying their name, but it was a school camp. So basically I went over and I taught people English, and it varied from kids to teenagers to basically people in college. So it just depended on who was there. So I came back home for a wee break, and I was planning on going back, but then I saw that there was 4 weeks left in camp, and I was sitting there well, I kind of don't want to waste all that money getting over there, barely getting any money, and then
Yep.
coming back home. So I just, emailed them, and I was like, hey, I won't be going over unless I'm secured a place and a job and a camp and stuff like that, because they can do that. Sometimes they don't have camps for enough tutors, so they're like, oh, just fuck off somewhere for a week and we'll call you back. And I did not want that. Then I'll just be actively losing money.
Yep. That's no good.
No. That's not good. That's very not good. So I get an immediate call back, and they're like, are you sure you'll be coming over, these dates? And I was like, I'm gonna try. And they were like, well, we had an emergency. And this woman did not speak all that great English. She was one of the Italian ladies in the office. And she was like, someone's died.
Oh.
And I was like,
Somebody è morto, and you, devi venire qua. You come here now, yeah?
yeah, it was, do you know, the moment that, you hear someone say, someone's died, we need you. It's kind of like, I need context for this, man. How did
Yeah,
they
no.
die? What happened?
They were murdered by the kids in the camp. It was ravenous.
It's actually a cannibal camp. But anyway. So I kind of sat there. I was like, okay, are you sure? And she kind of further explained that, oh, it was a family member of a camp tutor who, so she needs to go. And I was like, oh, okay. Much better.
Yeah.
So I said yes. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come over. And booked my flights. Woke up at around 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
Get on a bus that takes 4 hours, get to Dublin, fly out at around 8, and arrive there at around 10. And that means by this stage I was awake for 24 hours. So
that's the first level of exhaustion in Dungeons and Dragons, right? So now
Yeah.
that's the first level of exhaustion. Now there's a saying in Italian. Someone would say, porca miseria, which means, like, fucking hell. Like, that's awful.
Fucking hell, I'm tired, bruh. That's what it means.
Pretty
So
much.
yeah, I'm standing there in this airport, thinking to myself, I'm dying. Like, I'm sweating so much, I don't know what's happening. Just get me on a train to this fucking camp. So I open up this email, and this organization gives you the tools to get wherever you need to go, if that makes sense. So, like, you
Yeah.
don't have to pay for the train that gets you to camp. They will do that for you, which I think is really nice. So I open it up, and I get an email saying, like, oh, hello, so, change of plans, she's not actually leaving, so you will be put on hold, which means
The
I'm
one thing
fucked.
you wanted to not do.
Porca
Yeah.
miseria.
So, they're like, so we need you to get to this area, which is
So
up in
for
the mountains,
context-
and then
For context, where were you? Like, so you were in, like, you were in Calabria, right?
I was in Milan.
Oh, you were in Milan. Okay.
Milan.
Oh, okay, mountains. So they're far, but they're not too far. But it's still like several hours of traveling.
Yes. However, I did not know this, so I just kind of sat there and I was like, okay. I think it was God damn it, I can't remember the name of the place. I'll probably remember it. So, San Remo. There you go. San Remo. So I was trying to get from Milan to there. So here I am, 24 hours deep into non-sleeping, and I'm here, and I get this news that, like, oh wait, you're actually not going to be working. Oh yeah, you have no
my
trains
God.
because this company was going on bank holiday.
Oh no.
So there was
Yes,
there
because
was
you
no
were
way
in the
to
middle of
contact him.
August. You were in the middle of August, and nothing works in Italy in Ferragosto. Nothing is working. No.
Nothing tends
Yeah,
to work on
exactly.
Nothing tends to work in Italy, like, kind of year round, in my experience.
So I'm in. So this is all happening. I have no way of getting there. I have no trains. I have no idea what's going on. So I look up the trains. It's 7.5 hours
Oh my God.
to get from of a wait for 3 trains to get from Milan to San Remo, and this train was leaving in 20 minutes. So I had to go from Bergamo into the central Milan and then onto this train for 7.5 hours. And I thought to myself, fuck this. So I booked myself a hotel.
There you go.
And unfortunately, and this is very key information, this place only took cash. So I gave them the cash that I had.
No.
Okay. This is it. I gave them the cash that I had. I slept my little arse off and then got up the next morning and went onto the train. Thankfully, this train was a non-stop, so it just took me about, like, I want to say 4 or 5 hours, which is, I mean, it's still a very long time, but not as bad as 7.5
No,
hours.
that's not nearly as bad.
So I didn't complain. I didn't complain at all. But of course, this was at roughly around 6 o'clock in the morning, this one train. So, of course, did I have time to get cash out? No.
Yeah, no.
And that's where I first fucked up.
Yeah, this was the first of many mistakes.
That was the mistake that led to everything else.
Yes, pretty much. So I eventually get to San Remo. I'm pretty tired, but it's fine. And I stay around in the city for about 2 hours, just milling about, trying to figure out where anything was, trying to figure out where the buses was, and stuff like that. And let me tell you, it takes about 2 hours to get all that done. So I was pretty pressed for time. And I also had to get food as well. Note that I haven't had food at this point either. So that's day one of not food. Of no food. Because this was the place I went into was a B&B. And of course, breakfast, they only serve breakfast, and breakfast is only between, like, 8 and, like, 11. So I missed breakfast. So, yeah, I'm starving.
Already
But I think to
bad
myself,
start.
But I think to myself, like, it's okay. They have food at the apartment that I'm staying at. It's grand. It's grand. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And so I get onto the bus. And we're driving up the mountains, and of course, it's the fucking mountains in Italy. They have to stop every 5 seconds because oh, that bush might be someone's house. You know what I mean? Like the fucking secret garden. Like you clamber in and it's a mansion. So like it's taken a while. So it's about 2 hours going up this fucking mountain, and I'm at the very, very top. And I think I'm the last one in the bus for the last little half. And then I'm minding myself. Have my bags in front of me. I have one bag on my chest. And I'm just sitting there minding my own business. And then very suddenly there's like this huge crash, and I'm jolted forward into the seat in front of me, and the bag crushes my chest. And I sit back and I'm hearing I'm just hearing like this really angry Italian everywhere. And the bus driver hops out of the bus. And as it turns out, we were going around the bend, and the car in front, like, crashed right into front of, like, it was like a head-on collision between both the bus and the car, if that makes sense. So, here I am, just on the edge of a fucking 90-degree drop. Like, there's nothing but trees at the bottom, and I'm sitting here like with this really bad burning in my chest, with no one speaking English, and I don't speak a lick of Italian, because why the fuck would I? I'm here to speak to like teach kids English, if that makes sense, through what's it called, immersion. So basically, we have fun with them. Yeah. So I'm here really dazed, not knowing what the fuck's going on, and eventually I think they settle on with just getting me to the apartment. So the bus driver leaves, and he goes up the rest of the way, which is like 10 minutes, and I hop out, and he asks me, like, in really broken English, like, if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, I'm just sore. And I go up to the apartment that I'm supposedly staying at, to find something horrific. I walk in and...
Oh, jeez.
I walk in and I find the place completely trashed, with like open food and bags everywhere, all across the apartment. Like every single scrap of food I had, that was supposed to be mine, gone. Like it was on the floor. And I found some gross stuff in the toilet that I just don't want to talk about. And yeah, it was not great. So here I am with my chest burning, now 2 days without food, and no money, up in the mountains with nowhere to go. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, stay positive. I'll just get some food tomorrow. So I cleaned the rest of the apartment, and I tried to make it as clean and as comfy as I could, and I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and I could barely breathe. I didn't know what was going on, so I took my inhaler. I just took some painkillers, and I was like, well, I just gotta hope I'm not dying. And I shamble out of the apartment to try and find a shop, and I do find a shop, but unfortunately, and this is where things bite me in the ass, they only take cash. So that means, and I'm too sick to go anywhere. Like I'm in too much pain to get on a bus. You know what I mean? To go that far.
Well, yeah, you're starved.
And I'm starving. So I just have to like slowly go back to my apartment and wait until I'm okay to finally move. So that means in total I spent 4 days without food and in agony. And eventually I do go down. I am well enough to go down, and I got all my shite. I got so much cash because I was so paranoid. And I went to the ACLE office because at this point they were open. Do note, I had no contact with the organization. So I had, like, because they were on holidays, So I spent all of these 4 days completely on my own, without any idea where I'm going, without any idea what's happening.
Yikes.
In a country
And like
where
I
you don't
said,
speak the language.
with a broken rib, as it turns out.
What the fuck, Jazz? That's the tea.
Do you know what? It gets even worse. Because
Oh my god.
eventually I do get to a camp, and it's even longer. It's like, I think I traveled for about 10 hours to get to the next camp. So from San Remo, I went all the way to Venice.
Why the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least Venice is kind of nice, though. Like, Venice.
Oh,
It smells so
don't get me
bad.
wrong.
It smells so bad.
Really? Because when I went, I thought it was lovely.
Yeah, I didn't smell anything the entire time. But here's the thing, it was just outside of Venice, so it took a very long time to get there. Like I said, it was 10 hours. Because I have to rely on not bigger trains, because it's it's like holidays and stuff like that, and nothing's working, so I have to go on like countless buses and like smaller trains, and it took a while. I think I got up at around 4 o'clock, and I got there at around 6
Okay.
p.m. Yeah, so woke up 4 a.m., got there 6 p.m.
Good, like a good, 14-hour shift there. That works. Good time. Very good
Casual.
times. Yeah.
So I get to this place, and very sadly, so how it works is that, like, we're the tutors, we go to the camps, and we are given, like, camp directors, who are basically our bosses. Unfortunately, I get 2 batshit insane women as my camp directors. So,
Yes.
and this is maybe where it gets to a point where it was actually quite dangerous. I won't say everything that they've done, because I have filed a complaint, and quite honestly, I just don't want to talk about it. But there's this one thing.
They were awful to her.
Yeah, they were awful. Like, they were awful to all of us, actually. But anyway. And this is what explains why I was so drugged up for the past few episodes. So I walk into work one day, and we were told that this day we were going out for excursion to the beach.
Oh dear.
And the thing is, we had planned something completely different for this day. But when I walked into work, the camp directors had decided, you know what? Today is the day that we go on in the excursion. And everyone's like, what? Because we don't have any of the supplies. We don't have any thing planned. We have none of the games set up. We have nothing. We don't even have sunscreen. Keep that in mind.
No. And keep in mind, Jazz is Irish.
Yeah, they're weak
So
to
I'm pale as the moon, you know what I mean?
They take double the damage from radiant damage sources. How terrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, you know, I'm a grass Pokemon, and I'm inflicted by
the burn.
by fire.
Yeah.
So here I am, and the other guy is Indian. Therefore,
So he's perfectly fine, yeah.
yeah, he's perfectly fine. He's like, yeah, okay, and I'm like, excuse me, no. So we go down to the beach, and to be honest, we had planned that we were only going to the beach like for 2 hours. It turns out we were there for 6.
Oh no.
And the entire time, my back is just burning. It's on fire. And of course, I just have to smile and nod and do everything because the helpers did not help.
Did you just, were you like covered up, or what were you wearing?
We had to wear swimsuits.
Oh, jeez.
Because we were at the beach. Yeah. So we have like uniform like swimsuits for the camps and stuff like that. So I'm on fire. Like, I can feel my back actually in, like, I'm, like, it's searing pain. And I'm thinking to myself, I hate this. I have to mind these kids as well because we get helpers, which are basically assistants. But they weren't helping. They did nothing the entire 2 weeks that I was there.
Oh yeah, these
They didn't do
are the
anything.
guys. These are the people who like you walked in and were like, "Hey guys, can you help?" And they were just sitting on their phones. They were like, "No."
Yeah. Yeah, they basically did nothing every single day except for 1 hour where they looked at the kids when they were on their lunch and stuff. And we were having our quote-unquote break, i.e. working while we're eating.
Yeah.
Like, you're just jamming a sandwich in your mouth and just drawing something out for these snot-nosed kids who won't appreciate it.
Unappreciative fucks with even crueler masters.
Oh, yeah. So here I am, like, actually baking under the sun. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be incinerated. I can't do anything about it because and I asked them, I was like, hey, could you please get me sunscreen? And they were like, oh no, you'll be fine. Like, it's fine. It's not that warm. And I'm like,
This is medically not how this works, by the way. It doesn't matter how warm it is. if the sun is very direct and very intense, you're gonna get burned.
I'm on the beach with no trees. I'm glowing, man. So I go to my host family that night, and I'm lying on my stomach, and I'm crying with the pain because there's something wrong with my back, and of course I can't see it because you can't really see your back. So I hobbled up back to my family, and I just go to the dad who speaks no English, but I grab him by the shoulders. I'm like, help! Help, please, burn, fire, pain. I'm like crying, and like there's snot and tears, and my back's red, like as red as my hair.
Oh my
And
god.
He just rushes up, gets his wife, and they both help me out for the rest of the night.
Oh.
And the next morning, my host mom comes down, and she's crying too, because to her, she now has like an injured child living in her house. And she goes, I'm gonna call the camp directors. You can't go into camp, because I don't remember this, but she went up to me and woke me up for work, and apparently I looked at her and I just started drooling. And she was like, Jasmine, are you okay? And I just didn't say anything. I just continued to stare at her and drool. I don't remember this whatsoever.
What the actual fuck?
And
So
she's
Jazz,
like,
Jazz was literally catatonic.
yeah, like legitimately, like my brain was just a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil. Like
That
I
honestly was probably heat related. Like that was probably like related to heat stroke.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, because as well as that, I did not have any water because, of course, I had one bottle of water, and there was no taps, so I just had to live there with my one bottle. So yeah, I was probably dehydrated, sunburnt to shit, having a sunstroke, like all the bad signs. So she ran up, and I don't know when she came back down. I think it was like an hour later or something. But I do remember this. And I remember it clearly because it's probably the worst. Like, I've never heard of someone saying these words and thinking, yeah, this is going to be fine. So she came back down and she said the camp directors said you had to come in. And I said, why?
Why?
And she said, I don't know. Apparently, the other tutor needs you. And I was like, wait, what did she exactly say? And they said, apparently, allegedly, that if I didn't come in, I needn't bother coming in for the rest of the week.
Jesus.
Oh ho.
So basically, they were saying that because I had sunstroke, they just didn't care. I just had to come in and do the work.
It is not that bad. You are just lying.
Yep. That's pretty much it. And I spent this was thankfully the last 2 days. that I was going to be in this camp. But I could not move. I had to sit down in my chair, and I just had to teach from my chair. I couldn't move, I couldn't dance, I couldn't sing, I couldn't do anything. I could barely speak. I just had my kids do games. Really easy games that just required me to sit there and just stare off into space because I can't functionally do anything.
As your body broke.
That's awful.
I eventually get home, and it turns out the burns, like, my host mom wanted to take me to hospital. It was that bad. But of course couldn't because, well, by the time I get out of work, hospitals are closed. You don't get to see anyone. But anyway, I eventually get home, and I eventually go to the doctors as soon as I get home. And as it turns out, yes, I did indeed have a stroke. I was still I still had a stroke 3 days after getting the sunburn. I had, what was it? It was, oh, I can't remember the term. Do you know when you have like different terms for how badly the burns were?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it called?
Severity?
Yeah, the severity. Like, if you get like, I had 4th degree burns on my back.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So that means it damaged. That means it didn't only damage the skin. It didn't only damage the tissue below it. It didn't only damage the nerve, but it damaged the it completely burned away the
Bone.
nerve.
Yeah, the nerve and the
bone.
Yeah.
What the
So,
fuck?
remember when I was I think I told you, Astro, that I was having a really bad like sensation down the stripe of my back. So
Yeah.
where you would feel the bumps in your back. There.
Yeah, on the vertebrae. Yeah.
You could actually have like neuropathic damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the rest of your life, you could have pain because of these fuckers.
Yep.
You should go after these people legally. This in the U.S. is a multi-million-dollar court case waiting to happen.
So, yeah, that was my time in Italy. The last 3 weeks.
But she's come
Sounds
back and
like a
she's
great
fine. So generally, I think she seems fine.
Yeah, she seems fine, Astro, but that's because we can't see into her soul. It's probably all dead.
I mean, that's not very different. You got to do like a before and after comparison, Zach, and I don't think there'd be that much of a difference.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. I think I've been a lot more loopy.
What? I couldn't hear you. You were speaking in tongues.
You've been a lot more loopy, but I mean...
You little bitch.
Yeah. Anyway, so this has been story time with Jazz.
Yeah, story time with Jazz. Can we have a nice little classical music outro, like boo bap boo bap boo? Oh, that's more jazzy.
Could we do Adam's Family?
Oh,
Because of the
yeah.
holidays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh wait, I think that's wrong.
No, that's right. You know, you're kind of a Wednesday.
Oh, thank God.
You're kind of a Wednesday. I can see that.
Oh, jeez.
Who, me?
Oh yeah.
I respect that.
I'm a cousin it. I'm cousin it all the
I
way.
know. Oh, cousin all the way. Yeah,
I'm
I can
cousin
yeah.
it. There you go. All right.
Who
well,
would you be?
This has been fun. Oh, Zach. Zach would be the fucking butler.
Oh man, what a roast.
There's a beautiful cleaning flame.
Exactly. All right.
Well, very well. I hope that you all have a very good day and be ready for Astro's future content updates coming near you.
Yeah. Bye.